President-elect Joe Biden has announced his nomination for the Department of Homeland Security, naming Alejandro Mayorkas to lead the government agency. Mayorkas will be.
And while this team has unmatched experience and accomplishments, they also reflect the idea that we cannot meet these challenges with old thinking and unchanged habits. For example, we're going to have the first woman lead the intelligence community, the first Latino and immigrant to lead the Department of Homeland Security, and a groundbreaking diplomat at the United Nations.
Mayorkas will be the first Latino immigrant to hold the position and to take on what's been a hot-button issue for many years, America's immigration system, rather. Joining us now to discuss Biden's pick is Satera Gandahari. Satera is the advocacy manager for the Detention Watch Network, a national coalition that advocates for immigrants' rights. Satera, thank you for joining us. And we'll just start off. The past 4 years have brought a lot to light about the country's immigration system. How are you viewing the choice to lead DHS?
You know, Mayorkas has the opportunity to create a more just and equitable immigration system. So we expect him to work swiftly and decisively on behalf of the dignity and rights of all immigrants by taking steps to dismantle ICE, including massive cuts in the agency's budget early on, the immediate shutdown of detention facilities, and releasing people from detention back to their families and communities. You know, we don't want to go back to Obama-era policies that also targeted and incarcerated and deported our family members, our friends, coworkers. So we really are expecting this new administration to stop the criminalization of immigrants.
Thanks for explaining that. Now, I actually want to talk about how this plays along party lines. Both parties agree to immigration reform in the United States. So what does this actually look like to you? And do you think that Congress and the next administration will actually be able to accomplish this?
You know, I think in the first 100 days, there's a lot that the administration can do. Just right off the bat, you know, there's a lot of power in the administration to roll back Trump's asylum bans, the pandemic-related border closure. So really on day one of the Biden administration, we want to see detention numbers continue to trend down. They're lower now than they've been for a long time, and that has a lot to do with Trump's asylum ban and the closure of the border. While he's undoing the asylum and border policies, he should also be ramping down detention and you know, really signaling to Congress as well to cut the massive budget that ICE has had. It's grown 40% since 2016 to a whopping $8.4 billion for fiscal year 20. So we really expect Biden to send a strong message to Congress in his presidential budget to cut funding as a first step towards dismantling ICE and the detention system, which are both, you know, rooted in white supremacy and xenophobia. Okay,
now, during the last 4 years, the rotating acting leadership, some say, left the DHS in instability. And so I'm wondering if you feel that Mayorkas and a Biden administration would help restore some of that stability to the department.
You know, I think so. Again, I think it really depends on what Mayorkas does once he is there. You know, he has a huge opportunity here to reverse course and really start to implement policies that are humane and that value immigrants. So I think, you know, immigrant rights activists are really hoping to see a complete transformation of the system into one that's fair and humane, and not just simply ending Trump's, you know, racist policies.
Now, Mayorkas is an immigrant himself, and he'll, of course, be the first Latino and first immigrant to head the department. How do you think his background will inform his leadership of the department?
You know, I think it's great. I think representation is really important, but representation alone doesn't equal justice. So, you know, I think that his experience can certainly inform the decisions that he makes, but we really need to see a real transformation of the system to achieve justice. And I think representation alone isn't enough. So it remains to be seen what he'll actually do once he's there.
In the very short time that we have left, a about less than a minute. Can you tell us how COVID-19 is impacting some of the immigrant communities? Very short time, if you can.
Sure, I can talk about immigration detention, where there's been outbreak after outbreak inside of ICE detention centers. So it's had a huge impact on that community. And we recently released a report today, actually, that shows that not only does ICE have very little concern for the health and safety of people inside detention, but their failure to actually release people from detention early on in the pandemic has also led to a huge increase in the nation's COVID-19 caseload, contributing almost 250,000 COVID-19 cases in communities across the country, not just in ICE detention.
Okay, Satara, thank you so much for joining us.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.